Well, fun fact, just learned this. Zach actually wasn't supposed to be the Bachelor. So Jason Mesnick unknowingly dropped a bomb. He went on Almost Famous and was just talking about mentors on the show, talking about how Sean Lowe was this season's mentor, and says that he actually was going to be the mentor. Sierra's like, yep, I listened, I got it. He actually was supposed to be the booked mentor. In fact, they had his flights booked. He was ready to go, but he said they didn't go with Jason Mesnick because The Bachelor was no longer a single dad. So on the podcast, they're like, oh, single dad, it must have been Michael A. And I'm driving, listening to this, and I'm like, what? Turns out, Reality Steve clarified the timeline doesn't add up. It wasn't Michael A. It was Nate Mitchell. That was the locked-in Bachelor. See, gasps. Gasped. Locked.
I was like, didn't we know this already?
I mean, yeah, but it was 6 months ago, and I forgot who Nate Mitchell was. And it's one thing to assume that he was going to be the Bachelor. It's another thing for Jason to accidentally 1,000% confirm that he was the choice.
Yeah, like he was locked in. They hired Jason Mesnick to come
They
in
hired
and
Jason
be, like,
Mesnick.
The thing that's crazy to me, though, is like, so I feel like the show always tries to pretend like these podcasts like Reality Steve or She's Not Batch like don't have an influence over the show, but the fact that the only reason why all this stuff came out about Nate was because Reality Steve had Reality Steve not released that on his podcast, Nate would have been the Bachelor. And so like the fact that not only are they like aware of these podcasts, they're listening to them and it is influencing what is going on in the show. I think it's like pretty wild.
It's kind of like how Greg Grippo didn't go to Paradise because of some story that came out.
Some story from some podcast
I don't know where that story
like
came out. Sorry, Greg. Love you.
He has a secret girlfriend.
But the Nate story, in case you guys don't remember, because it was a while ago, his ex-girlfriend spoke out and said, what was it, that she never met his daughter?
Yes. They had been dating for a long time, like on and off.
Or she didn't know he had a daughter.
She didn't even know he had a daughter.
I was like, where did you hide all her clothes and her toys?
Yeah,
like, how does that work?
She had met his family and had been to his apartment, yet did not know he had a daughter. It's like...
So ABC didn't like that. So that's why we have Zach. I think it brings a lot of clarity, though, because when Zach was announced, we were kind of like, really? Like, what?
Literally, why?
But to know doesn't it make you feel a lot better knowing he was the second choice? Like, oh, okay. Like that's why we have